All right, let's talk about something I know you've run into. You're trying to test a workflow with, say, 2 different users, and your tests just fall apart in this tangled mess, right? Well, today we're going to look at how Playwright gives you this incredible power of isolation to make those tests not just work, but run super fast and be way more reliable.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You're just trying to test a simple flow, like a user makes a post and an admin has to approve it. But the script, it just gets stuck. It's constantly logging one user out to log the other one in, and then bam, a session conflict just blows up your whole test run. It's that classic, super frustrating headache.
So you're really at a fork in the road. There's the old way, writing these slow, flaky tests that are an absolute nightmare to maintain, or you can do it the smart way, which is what we're talking about today. Running everything in a single, fast, reliable test where each user has a perfectly isolated session. It's clean, it's scalable, and trust me, it's going to save you countless hours of debugging.
And here's the best part. The way you do this, it's surprisingly simple. Playwright has some amazing features built right in that make this complex-sounding problem, well, kind of easy to solve. You're about to see just how elegant this solution really is.
Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start with the problem we all know and hate. Then, we'll dive into Playwright's secret weapon that makes all this possible. I'll walk you through a step-by-step guide. Then, we'll level up with a pro tip using custom fixtures, and we'll wrap it all up with the key things you absolutely need to remember.
So, how does Playwright actually pull this off? It all comes down to its powerful concept of isolation. This is the absolute key to running these complex, multi-user tests without them tripping over each other.
And the magic word here is browser context. Just think of it like a completely self-contained browser session. It's like a brand new, pristine profile with its own separate cookies, its own cache, its own local storage. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. It's perfect, beautiful isolation.
You know, this is my favorite way to think about it. Imagine you've got your regular Chrome window open and you're logged in as an admin. Then you open a totally separate incognito window and log in as a regular user, right? The 2 sessions are completely independent. They don't share logins, they don't share cookies. That is exactly what Playwright's browser contexts are doing for you, but all automatically within your code.
Okay, so how do we get our users logged in without clumsily clicking through the UI every single time? The answer is storageState. It's really just a simple JSON file where you save a user's login details, cookies, tokens, the whole thing. You just do it once. Then, whenever you create a new browser context, you just point it to this file and boom, you've got an instantly authenticated session. No more slow, flaky UI logins messing up your tests.
All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and actually see how you put this into practice. This is where it all comes together.
So here's the high-level plan. First, you save the login state for each of your user roles into its own file. Think admin.json and user.json. Then, inside your test, you'll create a new context just for the admin and load their auth file. From that context, you pop open a new page. Then you just rinse and repeat for the user. And what do you get? 2 completely independent pages, admin_page and user_page, ready to go in the very same test.
Now, let's look at the code for the admin. It's way cleaner than you'd think. You just call browser.newContext and you pass in the path to your admin.json file. That's it. From that now authenticated context, you create your admin_page and it is fully logged in and ready for action.
And what about the second user? Well, it's the exact same pattern. We create another context, user context, but this time we point it to the user.json file. This spins up a totally separate, completely isolated session. And just like that, we have admin page and user page. 2 different authenticated users living together perfectly inside one single test.
Okay, so what we've just seen, it works. It absolutely works. But if you want to write tests like the top 1% of engineers do, code that's clean, super reusable, and just a dream to read, then you have to know about custom fixtures. Seriously, this is where you go from just writing tests to building a professional-grade framework.
And here's the deal. Repeating that setup code in every single test, that's a rookie mistake. It just clutters up your tests and makes them a pain to maintain later. The pro move is to abstract all that logic away so your tests can focus purely on, what they're supposed to be testing.
So this is what the before looks like. See all that setup code for creating the contexts and pages right at the top of the test? I mean, yeah, it works, but imagine you have 10, 20, 50 tests like this. It gets really repetitive and just noisy really fast.
And now look at the after. How clean is that? The test function just asks for an admin page and a user page and gets them. All that messy setup stuff is hidden away inside these beautiful custom fixtures. Your test is now super readable and focused only on the actual user interactions you need to check.
All right, that was a lot, I know. So let's boil it all down to the 3 key things you really need to walk away with.
Number 1, always use a separate browser context for each user role. This is non-negotiable for real test isolation. Number 2, use storageState to skip the UI login. It's going to make your tests way faster and a whole lot more stable. And finally, number 3, for that truly pro-level code, put your setup logic into custom fixtures. It keeps your tests clean, simple, and easy to maintain.
And I'm not kidding here. If you can confidently use this multi-role testing pattern, you are putting yourself way ahead of the curve. It's a seriously powerful technique that solves a really common and frustrating problem in a super elegant way. Now go give it a try.